Hello everybody. We talk a lot about human development and we talked about different definitions. What is human development? My favorite definition of human development is very simple. It's development of the people, for the people and by the people. In this definition, we make clear understanding what is human development. Human development consists of two parts. One is basic needs which everybody needs. To be nurtured, to get education, to have a good health, and so on and so forth. But the second part is agency, ability to participate in development. This very crucial third element, development by the people, which is an essential part of human development. Without this, it will be no human development. It will be just meeting basic needs, to be fed, nurtured, and so on and so forth. What is Human Development Index itself? Well, Human Development Index is a proxy for human development. It's the best available indicator, best available index which we could use to measure human development. And essentially, Human Development Index captures achievement in health, education, and economy in larger sense. But all these three are basic needs. They are not human development. So in fact, Human Development Index is basic need index. And agency is missed in Human Development Index. So where is this development by the people? We could use Human Development Index to measure achievement of basic needs, but how we could measure agency? And that's quite interesting and important question. And unfortunately, we have not much indicator or indexes which could tell us about agency. However, there are some. And one quite interesting set of data which could tell you something about agency is World Values Survey. That's an international poll which covers quite a lot of countries. It's done in a number of waves. And people are asked about different things. They value, they acting, how they see on life. There is no right or wrong answer. It's just perception of people, how they see life. And it has two questions. One is, who is responsible for providing you in daily life? It's completely you on one opposite or completely government. Of course, people answer somewhere in between. I think that it's more government, I think it's more me. And second question is, how do you feel? Do you feel that you have freedom of choice during your life? Could you make important decisions and could you act to be agent of your life? Again, that was a scale between 1, I have no control, to 9, which is full control. So, we looked on our region, Europe and Central Asia region. And fortunately, we had 2 waves of survey which covered the region. So when we looked on transition period, early 90s, we found out that it was practically no correlation between government responsibility and individual freedom of choice. So people simply don't square to these two things. But as transition go, we find out that it was emerging agency. People start looking more and more on themselves as an agent of life. And we find quite interesting things. First of all, agency reduced transition shock. When we plot government responsibility in people's eyes versus transitional shock is loss of GDP between 96 and 90, we find out that countries where people more relied on government, they turn out to be in a worse situation. Countries where people less rely on government turn out to be in a much better situation. And you see Poland, which recovered much faster than, let's say, Armenia or Georgia or Moldova, where people much more relied on government. Of course, this correlation doesn't imply causality, because it could be opposite picture. Countries where transition shock was so huge, people became less powerful. They lost in transition. They thought that they cannot do something in their life, and they start turning to government in seeking protection. We also could look on outcome of transition. What is the ratio of GDP in 2008 to GDP in 1990? And again, we find certain correlation between agency and outcomes of transition. Countries where people less rely on government, they show much better results. Countries where people more rely on government, they show much worse performance. Again, that could be reverse causality. When countries were performed not so well, people start feel disempowered and looking on government to do more. That's quite simple way to measure agency, and that could be very interesting to continue our discussion and dialogue, how we could look on people's ability to participate in development and how make development really human development. That's development by the people. Thank you.